What's good, y'all? Lonnie Appleton here. I am here to read the Bible. It's been a while. I haven't had a day off in a long time, or a day where I can actually get in and do Bible study. I thought about reading the Bible independently, but I do believe that the directive is to read the Bible at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time on live. So I'm going to continue to read the Bible at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time until I'm finished. And today we start Judges. So that's pretty cool. Judges 1. Those of you who are unfamiliar with me, I'm a healthy family advocate. I advocate for the restoration of our families. Hey, Carby. The restoration of our families and really just coming back into a space of community. Yesterday, it was brought to my attention that the reason why we cannot build community is because we're so individualistic in our homes. You know, our siblings don't even like each other. Our parents, half the time don't like each other. So that individualism that we have in our homes, we now take into our community, and we try to do things as a community, but we don't know how to commune. We don't have a collective mindset. And so I'm uncovering right now the work that we need to do to actually build the community that that which many of us express that we desire. With that said, one of the things that I do, read the Bible. Excuse me, I took the wrong breath. And another thing that I do is post content centered around that objective. So if you're not familiar, get familiar. You can follow here on on TikTok as the Apple Turns. All content is going to YouTube as the Apple Turns. My lives are reposted on Lonnie Appleton Live. So you can get connected with me here on TikTok. You can get connected with me on YouTube as the Apple Turns. A lot of videos that aren't going here are going directly over there. So you're going to start seeing gaps in my content because I date my content. You're like, what the heck happened from March 7th to March 24th? It's over on YouTube. Now, YouTube gets a slower rollout because I only can drop so many videos a day. So this content on TikTok is beneficial because what I do drop, you get it here first. Almost a month before you get it on YouTube. But YouTube gets everything in between, so you get it here first because I'm dropping it here first. But all the other videos that didn't get dropped here go to YouTube, so there's a delay there and everything. So anyway, that's what the content is doing. As for an update with me, things are going. I have my sister circle, not giving up on any of my efforts that I have for community outreach. So I have my sister circle April 13th, which is my mom's birthday. So off top, I know it's going to be blessed. Welcome to the live, guys. Just giving a quick update on myself before we get into the reading. But so I have that coming up. I just did an interview with Habari Live. So if you haven't checked that out, you can check that out on YouTube. It's posted on my page as the Apple Turns from my perspective. But if you click on that video and go into the comments, it can take you to Habari Live, their YouTube channel, and watch it from the studio perspective. So lining up some interviews, working on getting some press releases out there. I have a new book series that I'm going to start writing, redoing my website, and really just overall revamping my social media presence. So there's a lot going on as far as structuring and preparing myself to do this work on the level that it needs to be done. So really excited. Just continue to move forward. If you don't do anything else, sit with yourself and think of what your wildest heart's aspiration is. What is what is it that I just want to do with myself in this lifetime? And hold that vision for yourself and see that as you continue to hold that vision, that is the basis of faith development. You begin to take steps and strides in the direction, and we don't know typically what's our biggest and wildest dream We don't know how to achieve it, right? Who have we seen achieve our biggest, wildest dream? And even if we have seen one achieve our biggest, wildest dream, their pathway of achievement may not be your pathway of achievement. What I'm saying is, we don't know what our journey to our manifestation is. We just have to know, as long as we hold that vision in our head, every step that we take every day is taking us towards that outcome. So that's what we doing. I have my vision in my head, and I know that showing up here today to read the Bible is taking me a step closer to that outcome and that expression of that vision. Judges chapter 1. Israel fights the remaining Canaanites. After the death of Joshua, the Israelites asked the Lord, "Who of us is to go up first to fight against the Canaanites?" The Lord answered, "Judah shall go up." Hey, Kaden, will you go bring me some tissue? Tissue? Yeah. I forgot to bring some out. Thank you. The men of Judah then said to the Simonites, their fellow Israelites, "Come up with us into the territory allotted to us to fight against the Canaanites. We in turn," I got it, so you won't drink your drink. Thank you. "We in turn will go with you into yours." So the Simonites went with them. When Judah attacked, the Lord gave the Canaanites and Perizzites into their hands, and they struck down 10,000 men at Bezek and fought against him, putting to rout the Canaanites and Perizzites. Adoni-Bezek fled, but they chased him and caught him and cut off his thumbs and big toes. Dang. They took his thumbs and his big toes. Is your hand anything without a thumb? Like, I just had to pick this rock up without a thumb. That's a struggle. They did him dirty. You just gave me a finger snap of tissue, but I appreciate it. Thank you. I apologize. I have allergies. Now, I ain't never tried to walk without a big toe, but I think a big toe is as important as a thumb, so they messed that man up. Then Adoni-Bezek said, 70 kings with their thumbs and big toes cut off have picked up scraps under my table. Now God has paid me back for what I did to them. They brought him to Jerusalem and he died there. Was he the guy who was out here cutting off people's thumbs and big toes and then he got retribution? I don't understand that part, but apparently he said he was taking thumbs and big toes too, and then he got it too. An eye for an eye. The men of Judah attacked Jerusalem also and took it. They put the city to the sword and set it on fire. After that, Judah went down to fight against the Canaanites living in the hill country, the Negev and the western foothills. They advanced against the Canaanites living in Hebron, formerly called Kereth Arba, and defeated Sheshai, Ahiman, and Talmai. From there they advanced against the people living in Debir, formerly called Kiriath Sephar. And Caleb said, "I will give my daughter Aksa in marriage to the man who attacks and captures Kiriath Sephar. Of Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, took it, so Caleb gave his daughter Aksa to him in marriage." I paused because that made me think of, y'all know how in Islam, these people are, not in Islam because it's not symbolic of the Islamic faith, but, you know, the extremists where they're like, if you go do this, when you die, you're going to get all these virgins. So they're out here committing all of these crimes or these travesties with the promise of all of these virgins in death. And he's saying, yo, if you go kill these people, I'll give you my daughter. Y'all, if y'all don't know, women, if y'all know how powerful you are, they fight wars for you. They die for you. The power you hold between your legs is something serious. Now, usually when I read this, I'll give you my daughter because I'm just like, dang, where's the women's rights? But we ain't even on women's rights today. We looking at, the promise of a female is so powerful to a man that they literally will kill themselves for it. That's crazy. That's what you sitting on, sis. So manage it accordingly. One day when she came to Othniel, she urged him to ask her father for a field. When she got off her donkey, Caleb asked her, "What can I do for you?" She replied, "Do me a special favor. Since you have given me land in the Negev, give me also springs of water." I swear I've read this before. So Caleb gave her the upper and lower springs. The descendants of Moses' father-in-law, the Kenite, went up from the city of palms with the people of Judah to give among the inhabitants of the desert of Judah in the Negev near Arid. Then the men of Judah went with the Simonites, their fellow Israelites, and attacked the Canaanites living in Zephath, and they totally destroyed the city. Therefore it was called Hormah. Judah also took Gaza, Ashkelon, and Ekron, each city with its territory. The Lord was with the men of Judah. They took possession of the hill country. I got 2 dogs, and the flies are prevalent back here, y'all, so sorry if I'm swatting. But they were unable to drive the people from the plains because they had chariots fitted with iron, as Moses had promised. Hebron was given to Caleb, who drove it from it the 3 sons of Anak. The Benjamites, however, did not drive out the Jebusites who were living in Jerusalem. To this day, the Jebusites live there with the Benjamites. Now the tribe of Joseph attacked Bethel, and the Lord was with them. When they sent men to spy out Bethel, formerly called Luz, the spies saw a man coming out of the city, and they said to him, "Show us how to get into the city, and we will see that you are treated well." So he showed them, and they put the city to the sword, but spared the man and his whole family. He then went to the land of the Hittites, where he built a city and called it Luz, which is the name to this day. I apologize. It just keeps resonating to me. Do this for us and we'll give you this. Do this for us and we'll give you this. Ain't that what, Cocoa Puff? Isn't that what's, I'm laughing because I was about to say Puff Daddy and I saw Cocoa Puff at the same time. Isn't that the same thing that's happening with Puffy right now? Is do this and we'll give you this. Do this and we'll give you this. Do this and we'll give you this. But Manasseh did not drive out the people of Beth-shan. And what I'm saying is that the tactic of waving something in somebody's face that they desire has been a tool since it's been a tool. Whether it's being used for good, whether it's being used for bad. I have a whole incentive program to get my kids to clean up in my house, so I'm just saying, pay attention to what you can be tempted with. And nobody's above temptation. Just pay attention to what you can be tempted with. Where is a tortoise? Great question. I'll answer that question later. Lisa passed away. I don't even know how. I think that the landscapers may have used something that may have in the grass. I don't know, but she passed away. Very sad day. But Manasseh did not drive out the people of Beth-shan and Tanakh and Dor or Ibleam or Megiddo or their surrounding settlements, for the Canaanites were determined to live in that land. When Israel became, you okay? You gotta stop eating random stuff. See, I think they do put stuff in our grass. Israelite became strong. When they pressed the Canaanites into forced labor, but never drove them out completely. Nor did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites. What is he throwing up? Is he throwing up grass? Or was he eating something besides grass? You have to go look. Is it grass? Is it food? Is it What is it? It's grass. Alfalfa, stop eating the grass. Put him in the house. Put him in the house. Especially after the landscapers came. Nor did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites living in Gezer, but the Canaanites continued to live there among them. Neither did Zebulun drive out the Canaanites living in Kitron and Naholo. So these Canaanites lived among them, but Zebulun did subject them to forced labor. Nor did Asher drive them out to forced labor, nor did Asher drive them out to live in the word I'm on the can. I don't know. Neither did Beth. But when the power of the tribes of Joseph increased, they too were pressed into forced labor. The boundary of the Amorites was from Scorpion Press to Selah and beyond. The angel of the Lord at Bochum. I'm gonna have to go inside. These flies are crazy, and I don't know how to get rid of flies in nature. I guess I'm in your space, but still, leave me alone. Chapter 2. The angel of the Lord went up from Gilgal and Bochum and said, I brought you up out of Egypt and led you into the land I swore to give to your ancestors. I said, I will never break my covenant with you, and you shall not make a covenant with the people of this land, but you shall break down their altars. Yet you have disobeyed me. Why have you done this? And I have also said, I will not drive them out before you. They will become traps for you, and their gods will become snares to you. When the angel of the Lord had spoken these things to all the Israelites, the people wept aloud, and they called that place Bochum. There they offered sacrifices to the Lord. I just really believe that the literal interpretation of God's idols, serving other gods, the literal interpretation of this is a God and this is who I worship. I believe that the focus on this being that which we say, oh, you're wrong, only this, da, 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 da. I don't think this is what God is talking about. I think that this is too literal. This is too literal, especially when we think about the state of the world today and all the snares, right? He said, look, I told you to get rid of everything, but you chose not to. So I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm going to allow it to be a snare for you. Okay, now we think about the world that we live in today and how many traps and snares there are before us to trip us up and to keep us from achieving our goals, which means if there is a snare before us on our pathway, that means God's not talking about worshiping a false idol like this. God is talking about the lives that we have created for ourselves, present day. What is taking us away from our mission, taking us away from our divinity, taking us away from our God focus and moving forward? How many of you guys spend your hours in your day talking about other people's business instead of getting to the business of you? Those are the trips and the snares and the false idols that God is warning you against. God don't care about who people worship. God made this piece of driftwood. So if I believe this driftwood is God, who cares? God created it. If this is my pathway to God and connectivity to higher consciousness, it's not. It just happens to be where I reach towards. But what I'm saying is there are too many things in our physical reality today that is keeping us from a relationship with our higher selves and with our God consciousness. And we worried about the people who got orishas and stuff like that. Y'all worried about them. You need to be worried about what's keeping you from your divinity. Disobedience and defeat. After Joshua had dismissed the Israelites, they went to take possession of the land. And thank you for the love, guys. Each to their own inheritance. The people served the Lord throughout the lifetime of Joshua and of the elders who outlived him and who had seen all the great things the Lord had done for Israel. Joshua, son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110, and they buried him in the land of his inheritance at Timnath Heres in the hill country of Ephraim, north of Mount Gaish. After that whole generation had been gathered to their ancestors, another generation grew up who knew neither the Lord nor what he had done for Israel. So how many generations are we as a people away from the people who knew what the Lord did for the Israelites? It's 2024. We are eons away from that knowing. We are eons away from even believing in miracles, even though miracles happen every freaking day and we just don't see them because we don't know what a miracle looks like except for turning water into wine. We don't see how when we're driving down the street in this car this close to careening with us. That was a freaking miracle. You were just spared. You were just saved. But we take all of these interactions, these moments with divinity and, God intervening for us for granted that we don't even see God's presence in our life, so much so some of us don't even believe in God. Let alone y'all drilling it down to Jesus. Yeah, some of y'all, if you know, what is it, Usher? There's a video going around that Usher almost thanked the devil, even though he was going to say double, NAACP, but he was nervous. I don't know what the man was going to say. Neither here nor there. But the comments were saying, well, okay, they're still in school. And, Usher issued a response to the video where he was like, no, I wasn't about to thank the devil. I rock with God. And then the people in the comments were like, well, until he says in the name of Jesus, God can be anything. I'm just like, y'all don't even understand what the heck is going on. Why are y'all so pressed about how people know source? Why is that such a huge thing? Help me understand. Why is it such a huge thing how people know God? That bothers me. And I actually recorded a video, then I deleted it. But here we are. Why are we so pressed with people's pathway to their divinity? It's weird. It's really weird. Grew up and knew neither the Lord nor what he had done for Israel. Then the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord and served the Baals. This is why y'all are afraid. Y'all so weak in your belief that anything can enter the chat and you're swayed in a different direction because y'all are too busy judging other people's paths instead of strengthening yours. That's why I sit here and read the Bible, because I'm strengthening my relationship with God. I'm strengthening my knowing. And as I get to know my Creator, I get to know myself. And then people can't come from the outside talking slick and swaying me. But since the generation that knew God passed away and the next generation of the Israelites were there, they were easily swayed. Why? Because they weren't working on their relationship with God. They didn't see the real deal. They only heard stories, and the stories had nothing on what they could see, which is what I guess Baal and them was out there doing. Anyway, they forsook the Lord, the God of their ancestors, who had brought them out of Egypt. They followed and worshipped various gods of the people around them. They aroused the Lord's anger. Again, if you guys think it's these people out here choosing different pathways to God, and you don't think the cell phone in your hand and the gossip sites and the backbiting and the sneak dissing and all these different things, if you don't think that that is a manifestation of false idols and putting things before God, y'all tripping. As long as you say in Jesus' name, y'all can keep up the mess, and that's a mess. They followed and worshipped various gods of the people around them. They aroused the Lord's anger. Because they forsook him and served Baal of the Ashtaroths in his anger against Israel, the Lord gave them into the hands of raiders who plundered them. He sold them into the hands of their enemies all around, whom they were no longer able to resist. Whenever Israel went out to fight, the hand of the Lord was against them for defeat, just as he had sworn to them. They were in great distress. Then the Lord raised up judges who saved them out of the hands of their raiders. Yet they would not listen to their judges, but prostituted themselves to other gods and worshipped them. They quickly turned from the ways of their ancestors who had been obedient to the Lord's command. Whenever the Lord raised up a judge for them, he was with the judge and saved them out of the hands of their enemies as long as the judge lived. For the Lord relented because of their groaning under those who oppressed and afflicted them. That just, I don't know, Spirit's just talking to me while I'm reading this with the parallels. We are the creators of our own misery and we don't even understand it. Watching my husband say that he wants his family and he loves his wife, and then watch him post all the rhetoric about how I see about, just woman hate that he posts. Like, how can you say you want one thing and then go do the complete opposite? And that's us as a people. We want one thing and then we go do the complete opposite, and then we groan about our choices. Like, we're still doing it. We're still doing it and don't even see it. It's really sad. This is sad to read because I see how we are still caught in the exact same cycle of, doing whatever the heck we want to, up until it just completely hits the fan, and then we go and run to God like he's some sugar daddy or some sort of, superhero. And God, has a heart. Sends a judge out to come and help you out, and you still don't get it. You get things right back just enough to get back into stuff. It's a mess. Lord relented because of their groaning under those who oppressed and afflicted them. But when the judge died, the people returned to ways even more corrupt than those of their ancestors. Ain't that the truth? Because this world is a mess. Following other gods and serving and worshiping them, they refuse to give up their evil practices and stubborn ways. And if you guys think this is limited to the things that are in your face, and you don't see how you are serving other things, anything that takes your attention from your divinity is a false idol. Apparently that is the message today. Anything that takes you away from your focus on your focus is a false idol. Y'all sitting here worried about, like, I can't hear a conversation that don't involve Diddy. That's a false idol. That's a distraction. You're like, oh, it's a distraction from something that's going on in the world. No, it's a distraction from you. You are too busy worried about somebody else. You're too busy worried about somebody else's pathway to God. You're too busy about me wearing a Muslim on my shirt while I'm reading a Bible that's affiliated with a certain religion. Y'all worried about the wrong things. And those are the false idols. Those are the false gods. Those are the practices of the non-believers that you partake in. And I don't have I see the lizard too. And I don't have a problem with it in moderation, right? We live in the world. We're not of the world. We can live in this world, but the moment we become of this world, which means more of our time is spent in worldly pursuits and thoughts and in actions, we're imbalanced. We have forsaken our divinity. I don't care if you have been baptized. You're forsaking your divinity by doing that which they do in the world. It's weird, y'all. It's really weird. Therefore, the Lord was very angry with the Israelites and said, because this nation has violated the covenant I ordained for their ancestors and has not listened to me, I will no longer drive out before them any of the nations Joshua left when he died. I will use them to test Israel and see whether they will keep the way of the Lord and walk in it as their ancestors did. The Lord had allowed those nations to remain. He did not drive them out at once by giving them into the hands of Joshua. Chapter 3. Please stop talking to me. I want you to please stop talking to me. No, they're at school.
No, they're not. I did it right there.
Well, no, not right now. And please let me read. You see, I'm trying to read. I can't have conversations with you and read at the same time. Chapter 3. These are the nations the Lord left to test all those Israelites who had not experience any of the wars in Canaan. He did this only to teach warfare to the descendants of the Israelites who had not had previous battle experience. You understand that you must experience something, but you go through the experience to get the lessons. If you are experiencing something and you are just being the victim and complaining, that is the devil's tactic. That is the enemy's tactic. If you go through something and you choose to be a victim, that means you did not learn anything from that experience. Therefore, you're not learning the wisdom points that your divinity was setting you up for. So, one, you're going to repeat it, and two, you're hustling backwards. No matter what it is you're going through, learn the lessons. And he had them go through war so that they could learn war tactics. The 5 rulers of the Philistines, all the Canaanites, the Sidonites, and the Hivites living in the Lebanon mountains, from Mount Baal Hermon to Lebo Hamath. They were left to test the Israelites to see whether they would obey the Lord's commands, which he had given their ancestors through Moses. The Israelites lived among the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. They took their daughters in marriage and gave their own daughters to their sons and served their gods. Ophniel. The Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. They forgot the Lord their God and served the Baals and the Asherahs. The anger of the Lord burned against Israel so that he sold them into the hands of Cush Rishathaim, king of Aram Naharaim, to whom the Israelites were subject for 8 years. But when they cried out to the Lord, he raised up for them a deliverer. Can you please go? Son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, who saved them. The spirit of, can y'all chill? Of the Lord came on him so that he became Israel's judge. Nope, you ain't gonna come lick on me. Go and get some business, both of y'all, and went to war. The Lord gave Cushan Rishathaim, king of Aram, into the hands of Ophniel, who overpowered him. So the land had peace for 40 years until Ophniel, son of Kadesh, died. No, y'all need to go fight somewhere else. Go. No. Go.
They're play fighting.
I know they're play fighting, but they need to go play fight somewhere else. Go and get some business. Ehud. Again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and because they did this evil, the Lord gave Eglon, king of Moab, power over Israel, getting the Ammonites and Amalekites to join them. Eglon came and attacked Israel, and they took possession of the city of palms. They did all that work. They did all that work and defeated all those people. And because they couldn't maintain faith, they lost it all. That's crazy. Let me take heed of that. Take note. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Go and play them games if you want to. Again, the Israelites cried out to the Lord, and he gave them a deliverer, Ehud, a left-handed man, the son of Gera, the Benjamite. The Israelites sent him with tribute to Eglon, king of Moab. Now Ehud had made a double-edged sword about a cubit long, which he strapped to his right thigh under his clothes. Thank you. He presented the tribute to Eglon, king. Did you poop on me? What the hell? How did I just get wet? Man, y'all just be... That's why I don't be doing nature, y'all. Just crazy. Again, the Israelites cried out,
I think that will buzz.
Nah, it was something wet. But I don't know what wet came from above me. He presented the tribute to Eglon, king of Moab, who was a very fat man. After Ehud had presented the tribute, he sent on their way those who had carried it. But on reaching the stone images near Gilgal, he himself went back to Eglon and said, "Your Majesty, I have a secret message for you." The king said to his attendants, "Leave us," and they all left. Ehud then approached him while he was sitting alone in the upper room of his palace and said, I have a message from God for you. As the king rose from his seat, Ehud reached with his left hand, drew the sword from his right thigh, and plunged it into the king's belly. Even the handle sinking after the blade, and his bowels discharged. That's some gross stuff. I didn't know the Bible was talking like this. Ehud did not pull the sword out, and the fat closed in over it. Then Ehud went out to the porch. He shut the doors of the upper room behind him and locked them. After he had gone, the servants came and found the doors of the upper room locked. They said he must be relieving himself in the inner room of the palace. They waited to the point of embarrassment. It says that in the Bible. That's funny. They waited to the point of embarrassment, but when he did not open the doors of the room, they took a key and unlocked it. There they saw their Lord fallen to the floor dead. While they waited, Ehud got away. He passed by the stone images and escaped to Sierra. Oh no. Excuse me. When he arrived there, he blew a trumpet in the hill country of Ephraim, and the Israelites went down with him from the hill, with him leading them. Follow me, he ordered, for the Lord has given Moab, your enemy, into your hands. So they followed him down and took possession of the fords of the Jordan. Stop it! That led to Moab. They allowed no one to cross over. At that time, they struck down about 10,000 Moabites, all vigorous and strong. Not one escaped. That day, Moab was made subject to Israel, and the land had peace for 80 years. Shamgar. After Ehud came Shamgar, son of Anath, who struck down 600 Philistines with an ox goad. He too saved Israel. Deborah. Again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. Now that Ehud had died, get off of me. Now that Ehud was dead, so the Lord sold them into the hands of Jabin, king of Canaan, who reigned in Hazar Sisera. The commander of his army was based in Harosheth Hagoyim, because he had 900 chariots fitted with iron and had cruelly oppressed the Israelites for 20 years. They cried to the Lord for help. Now Deborah, a prophet, the wife of Lapidoth, was leading Israel at the time. She held court under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim, and the Israelites went up to her to have their disputes decided. She sent for Barak, son of Abinadab, from Kadesh in Naphtali, and said to him, The Lord, the God of Israel, commands you, go take with you 10,000 men of Naphtali and Zebulun, and lead them up to Mount Tabor. I will lead Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his troops, to the Kishon River, and give him into your hands. Barak said to her, If you go with me, I will go, but if you don't go with me, I won't go. Will you let Kaya inside, please? Certainly I will go with you, said Deborah, but because of the course you are taking, the honor will not be yours, for the Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman. Okay, in the hands of a woman. So Deborah went with Barak to Kadesh. There Barak, it looks like Barak, summoned Zebulun and Naphtali. Can you please go? Why are you coming next to me being loud? So go. And 10,000 men went up under his command. Deborah also went up under him, or with him. Hey, will you bring me some more tissue, please? A bigger piece than before? Thank you. Now, Heber the Kenite had left the other Kenites, the descendants of Hobab, Moses' brother-in-law, and pitched his tent by the great tree in Zananim, near Kadesh. When they told Sisera that Barak, son of Abinoam, had gone up to Mount Tabor, Sisera summoned for Harosheth Hagoyim to the Kishon River all his men and his 900 chariots fitted with iron. Then Sarah said to Barak, "Go, this is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. Has not the Lord gone ahead of you?" So Barak went down Mount Tabor. The 10,000 men followed him. At Barak's advance, allergies. The Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and army by the sword, and Sisera got down from his chariots and fled on foot. Barak pursued the chariots and army as far as Harosheth Hagoyim, and all Sisera's troops fell by the sword. Not a man was left. Sisera, meanwhile, fled on foot to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, because there was an alliance between Jabbar, king of Hazar, and the family of Heber the Kenite. Jael went out to meet Sisera and said to him, "Come, my lord, come right in. Don't be afraid." So he entered her tent, and she covered him with a blanket. "That's the toy you choose to chew on?" "I'm thirsty," he said. "Please give me some water." She opened a skin of milk and gave him a drink and covered him up. "Stand in the doorway of the tent," he told her. "If someone comes by and asks you, 'Is anyone in there?' say no." But Jael, Heber's wife, picked up a tent peg and a hammer and went quietly to him while he lay fast asleep, exhausted, and drove the peg through his temple into the ground, and he died. Dang, sis! That's brutal. She gave him something to drink, made him comfy, and then took him out. All right now. Just then Barak came by in pursuit of Sisera, and Jael went out to meet him. "Come," she said, "I will show you the man you're looking for." So he went in with her, and there lay Sisera with the tent peg through his temple, dead. On that day God subdued Jabin, king of Canaan, before the Israelites, and the hand of the Israelites pressed harder and harder against Jabin, king of Canaan, until they destroyed him. The son of Deborah, chapter 5. On that day, Deborah and Barak, son of Abinoam, sang this song. When the princes in Israel take the lead, when the people willingly offer themselves, praise the Lord. Hear this, you kings. Listen, you rulers. I, even I, will sing to the Lord. I will praise the Lord, the God Israel, in song. When you, Lord, went out from Seir, when you marched from the land of Edom, the earth shook, the heavens poured, the clouds poured down water. The mountains quaked before the Lord, the one of Sinai, I don't know. Before the Lord, the God of Israel. In the day of Shamgar, son of Anath, in the day of Jael, the highways were abandoned. Travelers took to winding paths. Villagers in Israel would not fight. They held back until I, Deborah, arose, a mother in Israel. God chose new leaders when war came to the city gates, but not a shield or a spear was seen among 40,000 in Israel. My heart is with Israel's princes, with the willing volunteers among the people. Praise the Lord. You who ride on white donkeys, sitting on your saddle blankets, and you who walk along the road, consider the voice of the singers at the watering places. They recite the victories of the Lord, the victories of his villagers in Israel. Then the people of the Lord went down to the city gates. Wake up, Deborah. Wake up. Break out in song. Arise, Barak. Take captive your captive son of Abinoam. The remnant of the nobles came down. The people of the Lord came down to me against the mighty. Some came from Ephraim, whose roots were in Amalek. Benjamin was with the people who followed you. From Machir, captains came down. From Zebulun, those who bear a commander's staff. The princes of Israel were with Deborah. Yes, Issachar was with Barak, sent under his command into the valley. In the districts of Reuben, there was much search of heart Why did you stay among the sheep pen? Caden! Caden! To hear the whistles of the flocks in the districts of Reuben, there was much searching of the heart. Gilead stayed beyond the Jordan, and Dan, why did he linger by the ships? Asher remains in the coast and stayed in his covers. The people of Zebulun risked their very lives. So did Naphtali in the terraced fields. Kings came, they fought. The kings of Canaan fought. At Tanakh, by the waters of Megiddo, they took no plunder of silver. Angel! From the heavens of the stars fought they, from their courses they fought against Sisera. The river Kishon swept them away. The age-old river, the river Kishon. March on, my soul, be strong. Then thundered the horses' hooves. Galloping, galloping, go his mighty steeds. Curse Marah, said the angel of the Lord. Curse its people bitterly, because they did not come to him, to help the Lord against the mighty. Most blessed of women be Jael, the wife of Habar the Kenite. Caden, shut that screen, please. Whenever that door is open, that screen needs to be closed. You're letting flies all in the house. Hello, Michael. How are you?
Good.
That's good. He asked for water, and she gave him milk. In a bowl fit for nobles, she brought him curdled milk. Her hands reached for the tent peg, her right hand for the workman's hammer. She struck Sisera, she crushed his head, she shattered and pierced his temple. At her feet he sank, he fell, then there he lay. At her feet he sank, he fell. Where he sank, there he fell, dead. Through the window peered Sisera's mother. Behind the lattice she carried out. Why is his chariot so long in coming? Why is the clatter of his chariot delayed? The wisest of her ladies answered her. Indeed, she keeps saying to herself, are they not finding and dividing the spoils, a woman or two for each man? Colorful garments as plunder for Sisera. Colorful garments, embroidered, highly embroidered garments for my neck. All this as plunder. So may all your enemies perish, Lord, but may all who love you be like the sun when it rises in its strength. Then the land had peace for 40 years. In reading that song, I keep thinking I'm going off camera, but I'm not. There we go. In reading that song, all that I received was, that is what songs used to be. Songs used to tell stories. And they used to tell stories of triumph, of overcoming, of history. That's how they told history. They wrote songs, they wrote poetry and stuff like that. Now we think of the songs that we listen to now, they're all fabricated lies, and they're not telling stories. Half of these people, like Tekashi 6ix9ine is one person that was proven to literally be just putting out damning music with a damning message that wasn't a truth. He was literally spreading lies on an agenda. Now, there's tons of people out there spreading lies on an agenda, but what I'm saying is, music ain't music. Music ain't what it was origins points for. Alright, I'm going to stop here. The next time I'm able to read, tomorrow's Saturday. I have something to do later on in the day, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I might be back tomorrow. Ain't nobody here. Ain't nobody waiting for me. I'm only doing this out of obedience. So I'll be back on the next time I can at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time. My name is Lonnie Appleton. I'm a healthy family advocate. I advocate for the restoration of our families, for us to get back on track and moving in our true divinity. Why did we come to this earth to do? Or what did we come to this earth to do? Why did we come to this earth? Getting back into that energy. When I can, I get on here Monday through Saturday, read the Bible at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time. It is presently 12:54, so 54 minutes ago, I go live. My schedule is starting to pick up, so I'm not able to come every day, but when I am, around 12 o'clock, whatever time it is where you are, an hour ago. Check and see if I'm live. If I am, join me. If not, you can always catch the replays on Lonnie Appleton Live, LONEEAPPLETONLIVE on YouTube. You can also catch all of my content on YouTube as the apple turns, as well as content also posted here. You get it here first, but there's videos that don't get posted here at all, and they go over to YouTube. So make sure you're following all the platforms. Not very active on Instagram or any other platforms, but I do have a presence. You're going to find most of my connectivity opportunities here on TikTok, as long as this is still around, because this is where my audience is. We're really working to build audience over on YouTube, because I don't know, but that's what I'm doing. So make sure you're following. If you'd like to support the community, you can always donate to the Cash App, Lonnie Appleton, link in bio. You can always purchase merch, Lonnie Lifestyle, link in bio. You can always pick up my books. I'm a 2-time published author working on my 3rd book presently. You can always pick those up at LonnieLifestyle.com. You can get What's the Best That Can Happen directly from Amazon. Just make sure the seller is Lonnie Taylor. Otherwise, you guys have a wonderful day. I will see you possibly tomorrow, but I'll see you again at noon as we continue to read the Bible.